Hey there, Metal Crypt people, this is Slaughter of the German speed thrash metal band Cruel Force, and I've been asked by the Metal Crypt guys to talk about my four most influential, most important, my favorite records in the world, which is an absolute impossible task to do. We'll be sitting here in 2 years and still talk about my favorite albums, so, well, I try to narrow it down to the albums I think retrospectively been the most important in a long-lasting way. Well, let's kick it off, shall we? Scorpions, In Trance album. This is from a time the Scorpions haven't been that famous. In case you're not familiar with the 70s Scorpions and only know their 80s stuff, check it out. It might sound different to what you think it might sound. This is absolute heavy rock perfection. It has great guitar playing all over, great doomy and heavy riffs, twin guitar melodies, dark and sinister lyrics and atmosphere overall. Everything great musicianship. Well, it got Ulrich Roth, the guitar player, the pioneering founder father of shred guitar playing stuff in modes in a time where it was not that popular to do it at all. So what else can I say? Check it out. If you're into heavy rock, then you'll find a Champions League heavy rock album. Well, let's continue with number 3, and no list would be complete without Black Sabbath. Well, this album, Heaven and Hell, what can I say? I mean, I love everything Tony Iommi touched, every era, everything Iommi done, every singer, just everything. But there's one thing I love about this constellation of Ronnie James Dio, Tony Iommi, and Geezer Butler. It's something magical. It might be due to the lyrics of Ronnie James Dio, which I'm a big fan, the more occult, dark, sinister, witchcrafty, mystical, Dungeons and Dragons, fantasy something. I think this is a match made of heaven or hell, whatever you want to say. Well, this album, absolute banger. Every song is great. Well, you know the album. If not, then don't continue to watch this video. Well, let's continue. Now we're entering the zone of absolute perfection. Now it's getting serious with the perfection. This is something like, yeah, you'll see. This is actually hanging on my wall, so I had to take it off the wall real quick for this video. And of course, it's Rainbow Rising. Well, this album is the blueprint of everything perfect, the blueprint of heavy metal in my books. From the cover, from the great Ken Kelly cover, to the great vocals of Ronnie James Dio, to the attitude, to the production, which is Martin Birch production again, as it was in Heaven and Hell, to everything, the length of the album, Terror Woman, the introduction with the synthesizer by Tony Carey. This is like the mystical introduction to the whole album. This takes you on a wild ride to the end of A Light in the Black with the guitars and synthesizer, dueling inferno. Wow, this is whew. And then we haven't even talked about Stargazer, you know. This album has everything. It's short, it got the epic songs, it got the short songs, and this combination is something that's unmatched to this day. This is the best album in the world, folks. Well, not quite, because now it's number 1. Time for number 1. Well, it could have been any other album of this particular band, but I chose this one because this was the album that started my whole journey, and without this album I wouldn't be doing this video, and there wouldn't be Cruel Force or anything. So, well, number 1, The Number of the Beast. What else could it be? This band, this album, still to this day relevant. It's insane to think they invented all this as well, were the pioneers of the early stages of heavy metal, I would say, and well, had such an impact on many other bands later, and still to this day, so many years, are unrivaled, unmatched. That tells you a lot that Steve Harris is a master of his art. What can I say? When I first heard this album, like over 23 years ago now, it's with Invaders. I was hooked immediately, like with the piercing vocals of Bruce Dickinson to the shrill guitar playing and everything. This is just absolute perfection. Another Martin Birch production. Actually, now we're talking or having 3 Martin Birch productions here. That tells you a lot about it as well, and also what Stargazer of Rainbow was for the 70s was hallowed be the name to the 80s and onwards to this day in my book. So everything here screams heavy metal. This is also the blueprint for 80s heavy metal. Well, as said, it could have been the newest album, Senjutsu, or it could have been X Factor or Fear of the Dog. I love them all. Every album has their moments. Everything is perfection. But this album, well, this set the standard to me. So I got some honorable mentions here, because on any other day I could have been like, yeah, one of those albums could have made the list as well. So I don't want to let them unrecognized, but I'm not going to talk about them much. So here it's Hold the Diver, another album with Ronnie James Dio. Well, seems to be my favorite. Rush, Hemispheres, could have been most of the other Rush albums as well, depending on the day and the mood. And Alcatraz with Graham Bonnet and Yngwie. Every song is a banger. If you don't know it, check it out. If you like those records, if you like what influenced me, you might also like our newest album, which has just been released, Dawn of the Axe, by the German speed and thrash metal band Cruel Force. Check it out. It's new. It's just came out like 4 weeks, something like that. Yeah, well, what else to say? Nothing. So until the next time, have a good sin.